the houses all around me, a lot of them, they're they've prepared it for fun. I guess it's fun, that's what people would say. But all the scriptures, they become useless and worthless the way they teach. That these days don't matter. The his days don't matter. These pagan days don't matter. Nothing matters. Why on earth was it preserved and written so we could read about these things then? This is nothing new. This is what the Israelites, when they went into captivity and they started following whatever pagan days they had back then. The same ones now, really. They're just repackaged and renamed. Same spirit, same evil. All of them. Anything that's not from the Father is from the devil, and it's his day of celebration. That's why we shouldn't acknowledge it, because it's his day, the devil's day. But they laugh and scorn and mock. If you were to say this to them, that it's the devil's day and you shouldn't acknowledge such a day, you're going to go into some let's go and get ourselves a nice scare with monsters and all these things, right? It's a spiritual problem. It's spiritual wickedness in high places that pass it down to the people. And they see it as innocent, but then they're deceived and they don't ever see anything clearly or right. Whole world's doing it, it must be right. Whole world's deceived, must be wrong. Believe the scriptures. Whole world's deceived. Whatever the majority are doing, question it. Don't just buy into it. If the majority believes something, teach something, or do something, then look into it. It's most likely 180 from what the truth is, the Father's truth. It's most likely a counterfeit. If he has his days, then the devil needs to have his days. Same thing. He has his books. So also there must be books that the devil has, that the evil people have made up and say that it's inspired scripture and things like this. They must exist somewhere. And in fact, I think a lot of them fall prey to some of these books, and I've never seen good fruit come from it. I've only seen weird, strange teachings that aren't in the scriptures, and only weird, strange phrases and words and attitudes and beliefs from these other books. So just stay away from those books that contradict. They're not profitable. They're the opposite. They don't teach you anything good. They teach you myths and fables and legends and evil things, contradictions. So how far are we from that day? Let's see. It's the 13th today. Uh-oh. So the 10, that's 23. So that's okay. It's 3 weeks away, roughly. The great day of Helloween that the world acknowledges and celebrates in rebellion to our Creator, who does not accept these days as set apart, who is against pagan things, and this is pagan. This Helloween has a history that goes back pretty far, and you can maybe do your research, look into it. It's nothing but evil that's connected to this day. It's nothing but evil. Why would people acknowledge and celebrate it? And I've been guilty of that in the past, not quite seeing this clearly. Everybody probably has. And I know that Christians from all around the world are going to watch movies dedicated to this day, and they're going to go to some scary houses and celebrate it and have a good hell of a time with Halloween. There's nothing you can do, man. You could tell them, but they don't have the eyes to see or ears to hear to stay away from that stuff. That's just going to blind you. It's just going to make you worse and worse. You're cutting yourself off. You don't get to do that and not be cut off also. Sorry. Haven't you ever read the scriptures about being cut off from the good land, cut off from the people, from his people, from his land? So you're spiritually being cut off if you acknowledge these days with knowledge, Everyone was ignorant. That's why you have to come out of it. But if you've heard that it's wrong and you do it, that's even worse. It's even worse. There's not too much to say. I mean, the pumpkins represent like severed off heads and all kinds of weird, nasty traditions and, evil stuff that people love. That's why I had to get away from all of it. Let the spirit be your guide, but I couldn't continue to watch these things and not be a hypocrite in some kind of way. That's what I found. Oh, I'm against Halloween, but I watch, movies about heads getting cut off and heads getting splattered with bullets and stuff. I don't do those things, so watching them, that's not a big deal. I don't do these things. You'd be surprised what the people do spiritually, because that's what matters. If you hate someone, you've murdered them and you cut their heads off spiritually. So there's a connection. And those violent movies are going to have some kind of a negative effect that you might think they won't have. You're just fooling yourself. That's the best I could give and say, that you're just fooling yourself if you don't think they're having a negative impact. These things that people aren't willing to give up. That's why it exists, to trap people. That's all. Confuse them, trap them. Delusion, confusion, and addiction to these things. They worship these idols, and they worship the actors that do these things, and they get turned on. Oh yeah, I love this actress. She's just about naked. She's getting it on now. How is that spiritual? How could someone be watching that stuff and say that they also a believer? They believe in the Messiah and follow the Messiah. It's a joke. It's a joke. Get real. It's not true. They're of the devil. They're being controlled by him. Those are the works of the devil, all those actors. They've sold themselves for fame and riches, and they have to do nasty things. It's not a free will choice. They have to do that. If they don't do what they are told, guess what? Say goodbye to your fame and your riches, which very few would like that. Who would be able to resist that? No, I want to be popular and rich. Okay, then do what we tell you. All right, I'll do it. Okay, get naked. We're going to have a bunch of people staring at your naked body now and make the scene for millions to stare at and watch now. Do it. Okay, no problem. Don't be connected with that. Can't be connected with that. That is filth, but they call good evil now, and evil good for a long time. Well, they always do that, but it's just getting worse. The nations are just getting more corrupt. every year. But in the age of enlightenment, spirituality and enlightenment, we can conquer and do all things, they think. It's going to be pretty, I don't know, it's going to be laughable mockery when they're all destroyed, and destruction comes. They're going to be put to shame. Man, this age of enlightenment didn't last really very long. This great country didn't last very long. The one who thinks that there is no end for her, she sits as a queen, as a widow, and says, I will never have mourning. I will never have destruction and death and mourning, right? That's the spirit of this country and other countries, this world in general. So I can't do that. I can't be connected to that. But you'll get comments and you'll get people telling you to relax. Party it up every now and then. Have some beer and cigarettes, and you guys are sex deprived. I went through that with the video, a foul comment. From a believer, right? From a Christian. So the fruit of that person, his comments, which gave way to a lot of discernment that I could discern by reading the words. The fruit of his master he follows, that happens to preach two gospels. The fruit of it's pretty foul. Interesting. So maybe those warnings about the false two gospel thing was actually right, that we actually spoke truth and discerned correctly that this is not a good teaching. This is a foul, evil, wrong teaching. You will know them by their fruit. And the fruit I've seen from that is nothing good. No good fruit coming from those two gospel teachers. Just really loose with the world and loving the world. Yeah, that's the fruit I see. These people are probably, most of them, if not all of them, that believe this and follow their master, the two gospel doctrine that they've been taught, will celebrate this day. They most likely will celebrate this day. And that's all I got for this one. Peace and take care. That's it. Question everything.